Diplomacy. It's a word we hear often, but what does it really mean? At its core, diplomacy is the art of building relationships between nations. It's about negotiating, persuading, and sometimes compromising to maintain peace and cooperation in a world that often feels like a ticking time bomb. But here's the twist. Diplomacy isn't just for politicians in sharp suits. It's a concept that shapes everything from global politics to everyday human interactions. Imagine a world without diplomacy. Conflicts would escalate unchecked, alliances would crumble, and international trade would collapse. Pretty bleak, right? That's why diplomacy exists, to ensure nations can coexist, trade, and tackle global challenges like climate change, pandemics, or even the mysteries of outer space. Diplomacy is as old as civilization itself. Ancient empires like Egypt, Mesopotamia, and China engaged in it through envoys, treaties, and alliances. Remember the Trojan War? That started because diplomacy failed. Fast forward to the 20th century, and you'll find diplomacy at the heart of efforts to prevent another world war. Organizations like the United Nations were born, emphasizing dialogue over destruction. But diplomacy isn't always about saving the world. Sometimes it's about power plays. The Cold War was a masterclass in this, with the U.S. and the Soviet Union using diplomacy to outmaneuver each other without firing a shot. So, what does diplomacy look like in action? Diplomats use a variety of tools to achieve their goals, such as negotiation, soft power, economic incentives, and back-channel diplomacy. Negotiation is the bread and butter of diplomacy. Whether it's a peace treaty or a trade deal, negotiation is where countries lay their cards on the table. Soft power is the art of persuasion through culture, education, and values. Think of Hollywood movies, K-pop, or even educational exchanges. They're all tools of soft power. Sanctions, trade agreements, or aid packages are used to influence behavior. Want a country to cut emissions? Offer them a lucrative deal, but not everything happens in the spotlight. Secret negotiations often pave the way for public agreements. Today, diplomacy faces new challenges. Cybersecurity, artificial intelligence, and climate change are reshaping the global landscape. Traditional diplomacy is evolving to keep pace. Virtual summits and social media campaigns are becoming part of the diplomatic toolkit. But here's the catch. Diplomacy is as much about personalities as policies. Leaders like Nelson Mandela, who united a divided South Africa, or Eleanor Roosevelt, who championed human rights, remind us that diplomacy is, at its heart, a human endeavor. Diplomacy isn't just for politicians, it's for everyone. In a hyper-connected world, the actions of one nation ripple across the globe. Whether it's resolving a border dispute or securing vaccine supplies, diplomacy is the thread that weaves nations together. So the next time you see a world leader shaking hands on TV, remember, diplomacy isn't just about the photo op. It's about keeping the world spinning in the right direction, one conversation at a time.